Lead swaps, crazy overtakes, 3 DNFs, 2 did not start. What a crazy race that we have. So I want to say, job well done, F1. This is Shift Break with Alex and Nick. Alex, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Glad to see the first race done. A few things we had thought about and asked questions before the race, and I think we got some answers for sure.
Let's straightly dive into it. The most important thing. Were you happy with the race? Because the reason I'm asking it, remember everybody criticizing the new regulation change and how it's going to impact overtakes and everything? Let me put a stat straight up in front of everybody. Last year, 2025 Australian Grand Prix, we had just 45 overtakes. 45 throughout the thing. Maybe it was good enough. But you know what is the overtakes this time around? 120 overtakes this time around. So I believe job well done.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think anybody was complaining about a boring race for sure.
But there was one situation where everyone is questioning about, did Ferrari fumble their strategy? Imagine this. We have hyped this up that Ferrari in one lap pace might not be the best, but they have a rocket ship when they have to start on lights out. Here we go. And they did it. Charles Leclerc dominated the start from fourth position and actually had the craziest move ever and went past Russell on the first turn. Guys, yeah, that was crazy. At 4 o'clock at night, I'm watching and I'm jumping off the seats. And this was as crazy as one of the best moves ever. But what did they do? Two VFCs, two safety cars, and they did not bring in their cars inside. Mercedes used this. I think they fumbled the strategy here. What do you think?
Ferrari doing Ferrari things, right? I guess that's
Yeah.
something that's not new to the 2026 season. I was honestly shocked because for the first virtual safety car, we had both Mercedes cars pit. And I mean, Hamilton said it himself. Surely they would pit at least one of them, but neither of them went in. I was a bit shocked because they had the pace to compete with the Mercedes car. They had the better start package, but apparently they still cannot get the strategy and decision making right for once. Like, it's just exhausting.
I don't want to be this quiet. And I think you also have shared this with me. Ferrari, come on, wake up, dude. Finally, you guys have the car to put out there and win something. How can you actually screw this up, dude? Please don't do it. You have one of the two best drivers in the world. You have a really good car. So please don't be Ferrari for some time and be the Ferrari of Schumacher's time. Imagine you could have just done. You had two VFCs. You had two virtual safety cars. If not the first, you do the second one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say at this point. So many years they've had the same issues.
And so in that procedure, George Russell won this. Bravo, congratulations to him. He did an incredible job. He was on the top of the timing table yesterday, and he did the same today. He drove incredible. To be really fair, we need to give him the praise that he delivered with the car. The car is really good, no doubt about it. But he became one with the machine and he was delivering. But I have just one situation with George Russell. Dude, you're really good. But stop just whining about it. This is in seasons where you need overtakes. And if you want to be the best, you have to be the best. Right now, Charles Leclerc was doing some incredible overtakes. And you need to give him some approval. But don't whine about it that it is like some kind of Mario Kart game or something. Please don't do this.
It's exhausting, honestly. Like, just focus on you, dude. Stop, like, getting bothered by the tiniest little influence of any other driver. Even during qualifiers and practice, when he was going out of the garage and he bumped into out of it
Lim luck.
And
Yeah.
his first thing is to say, "Oh, he crashed into me." And this has been going on for a few years now. Like it's getting a bit tiring to listen to this guy. Like you got a good car, focus on you, focus on your strategy. So far, perfect start for Mercedes. Focus on that. Stop throwing those little jabs, man. You know, that kind of mindset will take you away from what really matters. I'm just worried that the mentality of Russell is just not ready to be champion caliber. I think he's too
No,
bothered with the tiniest of little things that bother him from any other car.
I might not go that extreme, but I feel that he has to cut this thing down because it is annoying. And this is a racing game. Overtakes will happen. There have been greats who have been doing this. Now just shut up. That's all I can say in a very
Yeah.
polite way. But he did an incredible job. Let's not take the credit away from him. He deserves to win. So I guess Mercedes are there. It's not something to do with false allegations about how the car was made, compression ratios, everything. Put it aside, they have the car.
You knew they were, you know, bullshitting. It was too obvious, man. Like everybody knew how how glowingly they were talking about the Red Bull car and like how fast they are. You know, we're trying to
Yeah,
keep up with them, and then they're doing it with this kind of smirk, like we know what you're talking about. We know you got a good car. You know you got a good car, and that you know the look on Toto's face says it all.
yeah,
They
it
knew
does.
exactly. And remember, there was clips still that last year Lewis was with Mercedes. He had a conversation, remember, with Toto, and he said
Hmm.
we're expecting in 2026 the new regulations, and we think we will have a great car by then. And Lewis was like, I don't think I had that time. So I wonder if that's come to haunt Lewis now, knowing how fast the Mercedes is this year.
No, I would always support Lewis's decision to go to Ferrari. He's achieved everything he has to with Mercedes, and even more, you can say. So his move to Ferrari was an ultimate move on his almost end of his career. I think that's the right move. But it's just that the start of the season is so good now. I feel the Mercedes looks like they're clear favorites. But this is where my distinguishing factor remains. There was one person who did not participate in the race where he could determine the winner. I'm not talking about the three DNFs, where the three DNFs were Fernando Alonso, then Valtteri Bottas, and Isaac Hadjar. It was a shame to see Isaac Hadjar having DNF. He was really good, dude. I feel a little sad for him because he had a very good qualification, and after this is a cursed Red Bull number two seat, where on his first debut of the season he got the third position, and I wish him all the very best because he has shown a lot of good promise, and Red Bull needs that as very good second driver. Just me continuing it, there was two did not start before the start of the race. Oscar Piastri, the guy who was hometown favorite. I mean, what happened there? I came to know he crashed in the opening outlaps, and he crashed so bad.
I feel bad for him because, first race of the season in his home country, and he basically had a Montoya moment, just a random, he hits the curb and just spins, hits the wall, just like that. Out, done, when you least expect it. Both him and, if we're talking about McLaren now, I worry that they are now just sucked into the midfield pack. I don't think their car is that competitive this year, honestly.
We need to give more than one race, but I also have a similar feeling like you that if we have to go by this race itself, McLaren was nowhere near Mercedes or, say, for example, Ferraris. And the third team which I want to talk about next is Red Bull. Unfortunately, Hajar had his moment of engine failure. But I'm surprised that the no media is capturing an heroic drive from 20th position to position number 6 with new rules and regulation where we were not sure if we're going to get all the overtakes. And out of this 120 overtakes, I need to Google out and see how many overtakes were done by Max Verstappen because he would have had a huge percentage out of it because he was really good, dude. And I know he was trying to say that the hards were not good, but he was doing miracles with medium.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of his better drives, like in a long time. Maybe, because it's only up to P6, so people aren't glorifying it as much. But I think context is really important to the situation. And I
True,
think with what he was given, I think he made the best out of it. Like,
true.
couldn't have done better, honestly. He could have maybe pushed Lando, but I think at the end of it, he just settled for 6 and said, okay, we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah,
But
his tires were
seeing,
done.
yeah, the tires didn't look the best. And seeing, though, how Hadjar, along with the Ferraris, had a really good start, if Max can prevent himself from messing up in qualifiers and stay in the top 5, I think he will have a solid start package. I think them, just as Ferrari, have definitely done works on their gearbox for the better usage of the first gear, and definitely can give the Mercedes a run for their money, that's for sure.
True. So whom do you think is the rest of the best? Because Haas finished the rest of the best, which was Berman finished seventh, and below that was Limlad, that was seventh and eighth. Ninth was Cavill, and then it was Gasly at 10th. These were the remaining point scorers. Let me give out the entire table out there right now on the screen with Russell, with Antonelli. 3 was Leclerc, 4 was Hamilton, 5th was Norris, 6th was Verstappen, 7 was Berman, 8th was Limlad, 9th Gabriel, 10th was Pierre Gasly, and 11th was Alcon. I mentioned Alcon again for a simple reason, but these were the point scorers till 10. I feel the rest of the best pack is Haas. They have integrated the Ferrari engine very well with their car, and Berman is looking very good. And I feel Oliver can do miracles in coming season, maybe even give a tough fight, hear me out, tough fight to McLaren's.
I don't know, man. It's it's too early in that sense, and I think, yeah, 7th for Haas and Behrman it's great when you look at it from that perspective. But when you look at the times, they were a whole lap behind Russell. Like 7th
Yeah,
place is a whole lap behind first place. There's a huge gap between like the top 3 teams to the rest. And just listening to all the drivers coming out and saying, they're still gathering data, working on their cars, like, hey, come on, season has started. We're no longer in testing. And they are so behind in terms of their cars and strategies. I'm like, for sure, it will be exciting because it will be very unpredictable, the midfield fight. That's for sure. But in terms of like real competitiveness to get to podiums, it will be very tough for any of those teams to have a moment like that. But I will give a shout out to Arvid Lindblad. That was a very solid, good debut for him. The only rookie this season, so there was a little spotlight on him and what he would do.
Alvin Lindblad, you beauty. You did an incredible job. For a moment, you were in front of Isaac Hedger just because your car did not support you, but you were really good, and I'm really impressed. He deserves a round of applause, guys. He was incredible, and I think there has been anybody this impressive in their first debut season. Guys, he's just 17 to 18 years old. Come on.
Yeah, definitely getting points on your first debut is a dream start, honestly. I don't think that he could have wished it better. Of course, he probably in his mind would say, I would have loved the podium on my debut, but baby steps. But when you look at 7th to 10th, we have one racer from each team. We got a Haas driver, we got an Audi driver, we got Racing Point, and we got Alpine.
Mhm.
So the midfield package is going to be very competitive amongst each other. That's for sure.
No Williams, by the way. No Williams in it.
Bit disappointing because they were getting a lot of reps in training and the car looked at least solid, but their pace is way off. I think Sainz said
They're
they
not
had
there.
too much weight on their
Yeah,
car, so that's something they have to figure out. Cadillac team also probably not the best start for them. You know,
I,
both.
because it's a new team, I think
Yeah,
we need to be a little not over criticism about it. Yeah,
but I think the like main goal is to at least get points for one driver.
true.
That has to be the goal.
It would be difficult with a very tough midfield, and competition is very high with all the rookies. And last year, rookies are become mature now, and they are all in their form this season. I kind of feel they want to step
Hmm.
up. For like some of them are in sister teams. Like for example, Oliver is in Haas now. He wants to show his performance to get into Ferrari in future. So same, Arvin is like that. Similarly, Lawson is also in a situation where they are in the sister teams and they want to perform so that the other teams can actually have a notice about it. Bigger teams can actually absorb them in future. So they are in constant fight. Talking about something related to one important aspect which we were debating about, that it would be very difficult to start off the line. So at the start, we were expecting a lot of cars not to start on like Saudi we go kind of situation. And it almost happened for many of them. But one of the person was Liam Lawson, who got stuck in his own place for almost 5 to 6 seconds,
Yep.
and then his engine went into a drive mode. And this is an issue which the drivers will have to figure it out, because the once you take your out lap and come back to your grid position, your battery is completely drained off. So they have to charge, rev the engine faster, or come with some mechanical solution which will help them, like something which Ferrari has done, which will help them to, start really aggressively from first gear.
No, it's just what we mentioned before that it would be a miracle if all cars would seamlessly start. Like I
Yeah.
predicted at least one car would, stay in position and sputter. Like so, it was unfortunately not Lawson on this day.
Colapinto had received a grid penalty of stop and go into the thing, but it was very funny what the disclaimer was given on the screen. I will put it out there on the screen. Colapinto and go. Grid penalty. It was given. Stop was missing in it, so it was very funny. So I guess it was a glitch where we could laugh about.
No, did
Yeah,
you see? He almost crashed at the
yeah, in the
start.
start of the race, right? Yeah.
That was though like really good reflex. He was right on the wall and he just managed to quickly maneuver away from it. Even like the
That
drivers,
if
they watched the moment there and they were all like, whoa.
Yeah. In the cool down room, I remember that. But I think it was Liam Lawson who was stuck in front of him, and that's
Hmm.
the reason he had to take a dangerous reroute. Now let's come to a fun part about what we did in the last episode. We had made some bold predictions. First segment which we had was something called as race dominators, which we had boldly predicted who are going to be our podiums for the race. So my prediction was Max 1, 2 as Russell, and 3 as Charles. You predicted Lando as 1, Charles 2, and Max as 3. Let's quickly look into the timing page and see who was who. So the timing page says George Russell was one, second was Kimi Antonelli, and third was Leclerc. So,
Uh,
my dear Alex, I think I deserve 1 point over here because
yeah,
I gave Charles a correct position. So I get one
yeah.
point. Bravo to me.
Okay. All right. So
Unfortunately, you get a big egg.
just to start, slow and steady wins the race.
Bring it on. So the second section was a Latifi movement which would impact the race in a drastic way, where the race would change on its own. So my great bold prediction was that Aston Martin is going to interfere in some way or the other, where the race is going to, take a drastic change. Whereas you made a specific name mention. If not, if you had kept it a very vague statement of saying that start problems, then you would have won it over here. But you
Yeah,
said Colapinto will have a starting problem. So I guess
yeah.
on this we both don't win.
I was close on both cases because Colapinto almost had an issue at start by hitting the wall. But it was Liam Lawson who had
I,
this the starting.
I'm almost tempted to give you a half point on that, but no.
No, no, no. We gotta be fair on this.
In the timing boards now,
Yeah.
yeah? So in the timing boards now, it is Nick 1, Alex 0. So the fight is on, dude.
All right. Yeah. So the
Yeah, besides
Latifi
that,
moment, I think, Oscar. I think that's the moment of this race.
Oscar, it kind of, yeah, it started before the race. So I was just having huge expectations from him, but because even the crowd who had come, I think more than 50% of the crowd who had come for him. It is very sad for a hometown hero not showing up for a race, not even for a lap. So a little
Mm-hmm.
sad for it, yeah. But for me, the Latifi moment should be given to only one situation and nothing else, and that is Ferrari's strategy. There's nothing else besides this deserves this, because
That is
when
true.
you had a clear cut chance of winning, how can you just fumble it up? There's no way. There's no way anybody else gets this award. So please, guys, Ferrari, take this award from my side. Yeah. So besides that, let's sum it up. How was the race according to you? And were you happy with how it ended and everything else?
Yeah, I think for sure my biggest worries were safety issues and how the battery is going to impact. But I think we clearly saw overtakes don't seem to be a massive issue. And we saw Max from P20 going up to P6 shows that you can easily catch up. Although he admitted that his car was considerably faster than the midfield pack, which made it easier. But it was nice to see that we had so many overtakes, and hopefully it will continue like this to make every race of the season more exciting. Hopefully, I do hope it's
Right.
not going to just be Ferrari and Mercedes. I do hope Max will keep things interesting at least.
So the second round, we are going to Shanghai, China, and this is from 13th to 15th. So I am excited for it. There has been epic races from there. If the same chaos of overtakes and understanding these new rules and regulation take place, then we must have another banger.
Yep. I'm still expecting Mercedes and Ferrari to be on top, but let's see where Cadillac, let's see where Williams, after a work week, how they make any adjustments to the car. Let's see if they can improve their times. Let's see if Aston Martin can finish a race, or they'll just
Everybody
stay
has their
with.
own goals, yeah.
So yeah, we'll stay tuned.
So I guess thank you guys who have been supporting us with all your views and subscribers and giving us so much of support.
If you like what we're talking about, if we're not just rambling on, not making any sense, and you kind of get on with what we're going with, please like and subscribe. For sure, let's build our community. Let's get some interactions going. And yeah, first race done, on to the next.
See you guys in a week's time and hope everybody's doing fine. Take care, guys. This is Shift Break with Alex and Nick.